5 inventions born from debt and desperation. What do a man desperate to pay off a debt and another locked away in a prison cell have in common? They were both pushed to the absolute edge, and from that desperation, they created ingenious things you probably use every single day. We often imagine lightning bolts of genius striking brilliant inventors in state-of-the-art labs, but history shows us that's rarely the case. More often, the world's most impactful ideas weren't born in comfort, but in crisis. They were cobbled together in moments of pure desperation, when the inventor had nothing left to lose. These are the shocking stories of 5 inventions born from debt and desperation. Number 5, the safety pin. Coming in at number 5 is an object so simple, so ubiquitous. We never stop to think about where it came from. But the humble safety pin has one of the most direct and desperate origin stories in history. It was born from the mind of Walter Hunt in 1849, a prolific yet perpetually broke American inventor. Hunt was a classic creative genius, always buzzing with ideas for new contraptions. He designed an early sewing machine, a repeating rifle, and even an ice plow. Problem? Hunt was far better at inventing than he was at business. He had a bad habit of selling off his patent rights for quick cash, never realizing the fortunes others would make from his ideas. This brings us to the moment of desperation. Hunt was being hounded by a draftsman to whom he owed a measly $15. In today's money, that's a few $100s, a significant sum, but not a fortune. For the cash-strapped Hunt, however, it might as well have been $1 million. Needing to pay off his debt fast, Hunt did what he always did. He went to his workshop to invent his way out of trouble. He grabbed a piece of brass wire and for about 3 hours just twisted and filled with it. His goal was a dress pin that wouldn't prick the user. He twisted the wire to create a coil on one end to act as a spring and fashioned a small clasp on the other to cover the sharp point. The result was a simple, elegant, and safe fastener. In a single afternoon, fueled by the pressure of a looming debt, he had created the modern safety pin. True to form, Hunt immediately sold the patent rights for just $400. It was enough to pay back his $15 debt with some left over, but it was a pittance compared to the millions his invention would go on to generate. He had, once again, invented a solution to his immediate problem, but missed out on the world-changing potential of his own creation. Every time you use a safety pin, you're holding a tiny monument to a $15 debt and the frantic creativity it inspired. Number 4, the modern toothbrush. At number 4, we have an invention that began in one of the most desperate places imaginable, a grimy 18th century English prison. Before the modern toothbrush, cleaning your teeth was a bizarre ritual. People would rub a rag covered in salt or soot across their teeth, a method as unpleasant as it was unhygienic. An English entrepreneur named William Addis knew there had to be a better way, and he suddenly had plenty of time to think about it. In 1770, Addis was thrown into Newgate Prison for inciting a riot. Life in prison was bleak, but it was from this despair that inspiration struck. As the story goes, Addis was watching a guard use a broom to sweep the floor and was hit by the simple logic of it: bristles sweeping away dirt. He wondered why the same idea couldn't be applied to teeth. That image of the broom was a stark contrast to the filthy rag and soot method everyone else was using. Determined to create a better tool, Addis started collecting materials. After a meal, he saved a small animal bone. He then got some boar bristles from a sympathetic guard. In his cell, he painstakingly drilled small holes into the bone and began tying the bristles into tiny tufts. He threaded these tufts through the holes and sealed them with glue. The result was crude but revolutionary, a handle with bristles, the first prototype of the mass-produced toothbrush. When Addis was finally released, he didn't forget his creation. He started a business to manufacture the toothbrushes he'd designed in his cell. The idea caught on, and his company, which eventually became Wisdom Toothbrushes, boomed. William Addis died a very wealthy man, leaving the business to his son. It's a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of places, a single, clear idea can change everything. That daily ritual of brushing your teeth? It began as a desperate attempt at dignity inside a prison cell. Number 3, Vaseline. Our third invention wasn't born from debt or prison, but from professional desperation. In the mid-19th century, a 22-year-old chemist named Robert Chesbrough found his career suddenly obsolete. He specialized in clarifying kerosene from sperm whale oil, a profitable business at the time. But the discovery of petroleum in Titusville, Pennsylvania completely upended the industry, making Chesbrough's expertise worthless overnight. Now jobless and searching for a new purpose, Chesbrough traveled to the oil fields of Titusville. While there, he noticed something peculiar. Oil rig workers constantly complained about a waxy gunk that clogged their equipment. They called it rod wax and saw it as a major nuisance. But Chesbrough observed something else. The workers were smearing this gunk on their cuts and burns, claiming it helped them heal faster. Intrigued, Chesbrough saw potential where others saw waste. He took samples of the rod wax back to his Brooklyn lab and began the long process of refining it. After months of experiments, he successfully purified it into a light, clear ointment. He patented this petroleum jelly in 1872 and branded it Vaseline. But inventing it was only half the battle. Nobody trusted a balm made from industrial waste. So Chesbrough, filled with purpose, went on the road to demonstrate his product in the most shocking way imaginable. In front of live audiences, he would burn his own skin with acid or an open flame, then apply the petroleum jelly, showing off previously healed injuries to prove it worked. He was so convinced of its benefits. He claimed to eat a spoonful of it every day for the rest of his life. His extreme marketing paid off. By the late 1880s, a jar of Vaseline was being sold every minute in America, and Chesbrough had founded an empire that made him incredibly wealthy. His story is a testament to how career-ending desperation can force you to see opportunity where everyone else only sees gunk. Number 2, the barcode. Sometimes, desperation isn't about personal debt, but about a problem so big it threatens an entire industry. That was the case for our number 2 invention, the barcode. In the late 1940s, American supermarkets were facing a crisis. As they got bigger, the checkout process became a nightmare. Cashiers had to manually key in the price of every single item, leading to long lines and frustrated customers. A supermarket executive, desperate for a solution, went to the Drexel Institute of Technology in Philadelphia, looking for a way to automate the process. A graduate student named Bernard Silver overheard the plea and was immediately intrigued. He brought the problem to his friend Norman Joseph Woodland, who became so obsessed with solving it that he left graduate school and moved to his grandfather's apartment in Miami Beach to focus. The desperation to crack the code consumed him. The breakthrough came famously while he was sitting on the beach. Woodland had learned Morse code as a Boy Scout and started thinking about its dots and dashes. As the story goes, he dragged his 4 fingers through the sand, creating a set of parallel lines. In that instant, he had his eureka moment. What if he stretched the dots and dashes of Morse code downwards, creating a pattern of thick and thin lines? This was the foundational concept of the linear barcode. Woodland and Silver filed their first patent in 1949, initially for a circular bullseye design. However, the technology to read their code didn't exist yet, and the idea languished for years. It wasn't until Woodland was at IBM that the tech caught up, and his concept was refined into the Rectangular Universal Product Code, UPC, we know today. The first item ever scanned was a pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit gum at a supermarket in Ohio in 1974. That single beep marked the end of the supermarket's desperation and began a revolution in retail that now sees over 10 billion barcodes scanned every single day. Number 1. Tosikos itsi is your Wi-Fi. Topping our list is an invention born from the most desperate circumstance of all, a world at war, and its inventor was perhaps the most unlikely person imaginable, a glamorous Hollywood movie star. Hedy Lamarr was known as the most beautiful woman in the world. Saint Bastien, a celebrated actress of the 1940s. But behind the movie star facade was a brilliant, self-taught inventor. Born in Austria to Jewish parents, Lamarr had fled a marriage to an Austrian arms dealer and escaped to Hollywood just before World War II. From her time attending her ex-husband's business meetings, she had gained an insider's understanding of military technology. As the war raged, Lamarr was desperate to contribute to the Allied effort. She was particularly horrified by Nazi U-boats devastating Allied shipping. She learned that a huge challenge for the Allies was guiding their torpedoes. The radio-controlled systems were easily jammed by the enemy, sending the torpedoes off course. Lamarr realized that if the radio signal could jump rapidly between different frequencies, it would be nearly impossible for the enemy to track and jam it. This was the core idea of frequency hopping. To bring her concept to life, she collaborated with a composer she'd met named George Antheil. Antheil's experience synchronizing player pianos gave them a mechanical model for how to keep the transmitter and receiver hopping between frequencies in perfect harmony. Together they developed and patented their secret communication system in 1942, turning it over to the US Navy for free. But in a stunning display of short-sightedness, the Navy shelved the invention. They dismissed the idea from a movie star and a musician, telling Lamarr she'd be more useful selling war bonds. Lamarr did just that, raising millions for the war, while her brilliant invention collected dust. It wasn't implemented until the 1960s during the Cuban Missile Crisis, long after the patent had expired. Lamarr never made a cent from it, yet her concept of frequency hopping became a foundational technology for modern spread spectrum communication, laying the groundwork for everything from GPS and Bluetooth to the Wi-Fi you are likely using right now. It is the ultimate story of desperate ingenuity, an invention meant to save a world at war that ended up connecting it. Conclusion: from a $15 debt to a prison cell, from a failed career to a world at war, these stories show that the human drive to create is often strongest when our backs are against the wall. The safety pin, the toothbrush, Vaseline, the barcode, and even Wi-Fi are more than just everyday objects. They are artifacts of desperation. They prove that some of history's most brilliant solutions didn't come from a place of comfort, but from the urgent, powerful need to overcome a crisis. They remind us that sometimes the greatest innovations aren't planned in a boardroom, but sparked in the most unlikely of moments, proving that necessity really is the true mother of invention. If you found these stories as incredible as we did, hit that like button and subscribe for more forgotten histories. Let us know in the comments which story shocked you the most. Thanks for watching.